Right, so welcome back. My name's Alan Bark, and this is the AI Weekly Briefing, the show where we go down the rabbit hole of everything artificial intelligence so you don't have to. And if you run a small or medium-sized business, this is for you. Not the AI researchers, not Silicon Valley crowd, not people who enjoy arguing about model benchmarks on the internet. This is for real business owners, directors, managers, and operators that are trying to understand what's changed, what matters right now, and what we can actually do with it. So last week, the big theme was AI is moving out of chat boxes. We talked about AI moving into your computer, your Microsoft apps, your workflows, and eventually the physical world through robotics. This week, I want to build on that because the story has moved again. This week, AI is getting a job description. That is a phrase I want you to hold on to. AI is getting a job description. For the first wave of AI, most of you used it like, a clever assistant. You open ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, or Copilot, and you asked it something. Write an email, summarize a document, give me 10 marketing ideas, rewrite this so it sounds less corporate, and that's really useful. But what we're starting to see now is very, very different. So AI is being packed around roles, sales, marketing, data analysis, product design, creative production, finance, customer service, software development, even operations. And it's not just, here's a chatbot, good luck. It's becoming, here's an agent that understands this type of work, connects to the right tools, follows the right processes, and can create something really, really useful. That matters for the SME owners because it makes AI less abstract. You don't need to know where to start or what question to ask. How do we use AI? That's too big. Start with which role in our business is overloaded? Which job creates the most admin? Which handoff keeps slowing us down? Which task is repeated every single week? That is where AI starts to fit. So today we're going to cover a lot. It's a big one, but I'll keep bringing it back to the practical business meanings. We'll look at OpenAI's new Codex plugins and internal sites. We're going to cover Microsoft's new Scout agent, image generation inside PowerPoint and OneDrive, and the GitHub Copilot App. Canva is getting deeper into ChatGPT and Codex. Meta Business Agent, which I think is a really, really big one for small businesses. OpenAI models becoming available through Amazon Bedrock. And then a serious warning from Anthropic about AI-enabled cyber threats. Because if AI can work for you, it can also be used against you. So let's get into it. Let's start with OpenAI and Codex. Now, if you've heard me talk about Codex before, you might think, that's for developers. It's a developer's tool because it's got the word code in it, right? Something for code, something that builds websites, something for software people. And yes, that's where it started. But OpenAI has now made it very clear. They're moving beyond software development. They've announced a role-specific plugins for Codex. In fact, what OpenAI are talking about is Codex is becoming a super app. It's ChatGPT, it's their browser all rolled into one. The first set includes sales, data analysis, product design, creative production, investment banking, and public equity investment. Now, for some of us, they sound very, very corporate. And for some of them, they may not feel immediately relevant if you run a 10-person business in Chester, but the idea is very relevant because these plugins are not just prompts. They package together skills, app integration, starter prompts, and workflow guidance. In other words, Codex has been given a job role. It's not AI, help me. It's AI, act like a sales rep, connected to my sales tool. Or AI, act like a data analysis connected to my data sources that we use. The difference is, this is a different level of usefulness. OpenAI says Codex is now becoming used by non-developers. including analysts, marketeers, operators, designers, researchers, investors, and bankers. And that is exactly the shift. AI is moving from a general tool to a role-aware worker. Now, for the SME market, this is what it really means. You should stop thinking about AI by product name only. Don't just ask, should we ask ChatGPT, Claude, or Copilot? Ask, which job in the business needs support? Sales is a good example. A sales agent could prepare a call by putting together an account history, recent emails, open quotes, buying signs, previous objections, and a suggested follow-up plan. That could save a salesperson half an hour before every single important conversation. And more importantly, it could stop them going into a call unprepared. That's a massive mistake that too many salespeople make. Data analysis is another one. Instead of someone wrestling with spreadsheets for half a day, a data agent could turn last month's sales, stock, service data into plain English report with 3 key things that matter, the 3 things that changed, and the 3 things that need attention. Creative production is another one. Think about your marketing. You have an idea, then you need a post, then a graphic, then an email, maybe a landing page, a short video caption, then a version for LinkedIn, for Facebook, for Instagram. The handoff between the thinking, the writing, the design, the publishing is where things slow down. So role-specific AI starts to close that gap. Now OpenAI has announced ChatGPT Sites in preview for business workspaces with Codex access. This is another really interesting one. The idea that Codex can create lightweight internet websites and apps that can be shared inside a workspace. So instead of producing another static document, it can produce something more interactive. A dashboard, a customer review hub, a project tracker, a launch plan, a weekly KPI page, an internal knowledge base. Again, don't get lost in the technical detail. The practical point is this: AI is starting to create internal business tools, not just text. For an SME, that could become really, really powerful. So imagine saying, create a weekly sales dashboard for our leadership team. And that's an interactive thing on your internal web. Create a project hub for this client implementation. Create a one-page operational review that updates as data changes. Create a staff onboarding guide from our existing documents. That's just the things that have come off the top of my head. And you don't require a developer, a software tool, a dashboard, or even a lot of manual copying and pasting. We are not fully at the push button perfect version yet, but the direction is really obvious. And I'm using this stuff every single day now. The direction is AI is becoming a builder of business workspaces, and that's a big deal. Right, let's move on to Microsoft. And Microsoft had a lot going on around the Build conference they've just finished. So I wanted to focus on 3 things: Scout, image generation, and GitHub Copilot App. So first, Scout. Microsoft introduced Scout as its first autopilot agent. Now, we already have too many AI names, so let's not translate that, but Microsoft is saying that autopilots are always-on agents. They can work in the background, they can have their own identity, they can act on your behalf, and they operate within the permissions and policies your organization sets. So Scout connects across Microsoft 365, so Teams, Outlook, OneDrive, SharePoint, email, calendar, contacts, and files. So this is not just a chatbot. It waits for you to ask something. It's closer to, I noticed this meeting needs preparation. I spotted this decision has stalled. I blocked time for that deliverable. I found this document that needs your for a customer call. It can help coordinate across those zones. So that's the direction within Microsoft with Scout. Still really early, and Microsoft says Scout is available throughout Frontier and private preview routes. So it's not necessarily something every small business can switch on this afternoon, but the business meaning is important because Microsoft is trying to make AI part of the operating layer of work. Not another app, not another inbox, part of your workflow. And if you use Microsoft 365, this is the kind of AI that might eventually matter more than any standalone chatbot because it lives where you work and where the work already happens. But there's a very important control point here. Microsoft is also talking about identity, permissions, policies, and auditability. And that's exactly what SMEs need to learn from this. If an AI agent is going to act on your behalf, you need to know what it can read, what it can write, what it can send, what it can delete, what it can change. And when does a human need to approve it? This is a grown-up version of AI adaptation. Now, let's give the robot everything and hope for the best. No, we're not going there. This agent can draft, it cannot send. This agent can summarize, it cannot change records. This agent can recommend, it cannot approve. It can prepare, but a human decides. And that should be the rule, especially in our businesses. AI prepares, you decide. Now, second Microsoft update is the image generation. So Microsoft announced MEI Image 2.5 and a Flash variant. The important bit for most business owners is that these image models are live in PowerPoint, rolling out on OneDrive and landing in Microsoft Foundry. In plain English, Microsoft is bringing stronger AI image generation into the normal productivity environment. That matters because a lot of businesses are locked down. You cannot just use any random design tool. You can't upload assets everywhere. You cannot use every shiny AI image generator because IT compliance or common sense says no. So if AI image creation gets better inside PowerPoint and OneDrive, that reduces friction. Your team can create presentation visuals, campaign images, proposal graphics, or internal training and illustrations without constantly jumping into separate tools. That does not replace proper design for important brand work, but it absolutely speeds up drafts, concepts, and internal materials. So a third update is GitHub Copilot App. Now, if you're not a software business, you might be tempted to skip this bit, but don't skip the idea. GitHub introduced a Copilot desktop app designed for agent native development. It has a My Work view where developers can see active sessions, issues, pull requests, and background automations. It also has canvases where you can work, where the work an agent is doing becomes really visible to you, editable and manageable. The reason I mention this on the podcast for SME owners is not because every SME owner needs GitHub. It's because this shows the AI work management may look like. If you're going to have 3, 5, or 10 AI agents doing tasks in the background, you need a control center. You need to see what they're doing. You need to be able to inspect their work. You need to be able to redirect them. You need to be able to approve or reject outputs. You need that trail. That's not just a developer problem, that's an operational problem. And eventually, sales teams, marketing teams, admin teams, finance teams will need the same thing. So agent work has to be visible. Otherwise it becomes risky really, really quickly. So we're going to move on. Canva. This one is very, very relevant for small business marketing. Canva's app in ChatGPT now supports creating, previewing, and editing designs directly inside the chat experience. And Canva is also part of the Codex plugin ecosystem around creative production. Why does that matter? Because marketing work often breaks at the handoff. You have an idea in a meeting, someone turns it into copy, someone else turns it into a graphic, then someone has to resize it, then someone has to make a LinkedIn version, an Instagram version, a story version, a newsletter banner, then a PDF one-pager, And so on and so on and so forth. Every step, the context gets weaker. The message can change. The brand gets a bit looser. The colours might drift. The call to action disappears. And the person doing the final design has to ask, was this what we meant to say again? That's where context-aware design tools start to become really, really useful. In AI conversations, you already knows the audience, the campaign, the message, the KPI, and it's all on brand. And then it can create or edit the Canva design in the same flow. It saves so much time, not because it makes every design redundant. It doesn't. Good designers still matter, but it removes a lot of the low value friction. For an SME, this could mean quicker social posts, faster client one-pagers, better internal reports, a rough campaign concept, a presentation graphic, a newsletter image, a quick branded explainer. The lesson here is simple. AI is starting to join the dots between words and visuals. And if your business produces a lot of small marketing assets, it's worth paying attention to. So I'm going to move on to Meta now. This may be one of the most directly relevant updates for small businesses this week. Meta introduced Meta Business Agent. And this means it's expanding globally to businesses of all sizes. This is AI for customer conversations across WhatsApp, Messenger, and Instagram. Meta says the business agent can answer questions specifically to your business, recommend products from a catalogue, book appointments, qualify leads, decide when a team member should step in and close. That's a serious claim. And whether you love Meta or not, this matters. Because a huge number of small businesses already live in WhatsApp, Instagram, DMs, Messenger and Facebook. Customers do not always fill inquiry forms in. The message, are you open? Do you have this in stock? How much is it? Can I book X? Can you deliver? Do you cover my area? Can someone call me? What happens next? And if no one replies quickly, the lead can cool down. So for a small business, missed messages are often money left on the table. So the opportunity is really obvious here. A business agent could answer basic questions when the team is busy. Qualify inquiries, could book appointments, could recommend products, could hand over when a human is really needed. If you could make sure the customer gets some sort of response rather than silence, that's genuinely useful. But, and this is a big but, this is also where SMEs need to be careful, because a customer-facing AI agent is not like an internal note-taking tool. It speaks to your customers. It can create expectations. It can make promises. It can also get things wrong. That could damage trust. So it can create legal or commercial problems if you give it the wrong information in the first place. Pricing, availability, refunds, guarantees, delivery times, or even your terms. So my advice would be, don't start by letting AI agent close sales with no supervision. Start with safer tasks, frequently asked questions, opening hours, location, basic product information, appointment request intakes, lead qualification, routing the calls to the right person, simple follow-ups, and make sure there's a clear human handoff. The agent should know when to stop. It should know when to say, I'll get a member of the team to confirm that with you. That one sentence might save you a lot of pain. So for SMEs, Meta Business Agent could be incredibly powerful, but the setup matters. Your frequently asked questions matter. They've got to be high quality. Your product data matters. Your escalation rules matter. Your tone of voice matters. Your approval boundaries matter, because if the agent is going to represent your business, it needs a job description. There's that phrase again. AI needs a job description. Right. So next is AWS and OpenAI. This one is more enterprise focused, but it's still worth just understanding where we are. AWS announced that OpenAI, ChatGPT 5, ChatGPT 5.4 and Codex are generally available on Amazon Bedrock. Now, most small business owners are not going to wake up tomorrow morning and start configuring Amazon Bedrock. So why should you care? Because this shows where AI adoption is going. It's moving from experiments into infrastructure. Large businesses often cannot just sign up for any AI tools with a credit card. They need security, procurement, billing, data residency, logging, access controls, compliance, legal reviews, all that kind of stuff. So when OpenAI models become available through AWS Bedrock, it lowers the barrier for companies that already run on AWS to use those models within the controls they already trust. That matters. It means AI is becoming normal for enterprise level infrastructure, just like cloud computing did, CRMs did, just like Microsoft 365 did. For SMEs, the practical lesson is not going by AWS Bedrock. Please don't. The practical lesson is the serious AI conversation is becoming about governance, cost control, permissions, and integration, not just clever demos. And that is the stage where small businesses need to prepare for as well. You may not need enterprise cloud infrastructure, but you do need to know where your data is going, who has access, who pays for the usage, what happens if someone pastes confidential information into the wrong place. Can you turn it off? They're the SME questions right now. So now, before all this sounds too exciting, we need to talk about a warning label. Anthropic published a report looking at 832 accounts banned for malicious cyber activity between March 2025 and March 26. They found that 560 of those accounts, which is 67.5%, used AI to help write malware. They also found evidence that attackers are using AI deeper in the attack lifecycle, not just for phishing or early preparation. In plain English, AI is helping less skilled attackers do more advanced things. I don't say this just to scare people, but business owners need to understand both sides of this. The same technology that helps you automate admin can help someone else automate attacks. The same agent ideas that helps your team move faster can also, absurdly, if it gets the wrong permissions, the same connected systems that make work easier can create bigger risk if they are not secured. So if week 4 has one serious message, it's this: agents need seatbelts. You would not give a new employee access to the bank account, payroll, CRM, inbox, websites, customer data, social media accounts on day one with no training and no supervision. So do not do that with AI. Set boundaries. Use multiple factor authentication. Limit admin access. Have separate user accounts. Keep logs. Review what tools can connect to. Do not let AI send customer-facing messages without preview until you have tested it properly. Do not let AI change live records without approval. Do not let AI handle refunds, contracts, legal claims, or HR decisions without a human. It's obvious, right? But train the team. If you start with someone pasting sensitive information into the wrong tool, you could get in trouble. Or clicking a fake login link, or giving AI plugin too much access, or letting an agent send something that should have been checked. This is no reason to avoid AI. It's a reason to adopt it properly. Have a plan, have a strategy. Very quick note on Apple as well. Apple's development updates around Apple Intelligence point in the same direction. The foundation models framework gives deeper access to Apple's on-device model. The app intends to help app actions become available through Siri and Apple Intelligence. Again, this is more development focused at the moment, but the business owner The meaning is simple. AI is going to show up inside normal apps, not just separate AI products, your phone, your Mac, your CRM. Right, so let's bring this down to earth. Here are 3 practical things that you can do this week. Number 1, pick one role, not a tool. Don't start with which AI tool should we buy. Start with which role needs help. Sales, admin, marketing, customer service, operations, finance. Pick one. Write down the repeatable weekly tasks for that role. For sales, it might be, we talked about call prep, follow-up emails, proposal drafts. For customer service, it might be, FAQs, appointment requests, chasing missing information. For marketing, it might be social posts, newsletter, drafts, and graphics. For operations, it might be reports, supplier checks, internal updates. Once you know the role and the task, AI becomes much easier to apply. Number 2, build an agent permission map. This sounds fancy, but it's really simple. For AI tools or agents, write 4 columns. What can it read? What can it draft? What can it change? What can it send? And then add a 5th column. What needs human approval? That's your first AI governance document. Keep it simple. For example, AI marketing assistant. Can it read your brand guide and previous posts? It can draft captions. It can suggest images. It cannot publish without approval. It cannot message prospects. It cannot change your website. That's clear. That's practical. That's how you start safely. So, a good simple way of using those columns to start as safely as you possibly can. So move on. Number 3, choose one controlled pilot. A good first pilot would be a customer FAQ assistant, a weekly sales summary, social media content workflow, a proposal draft assistance. Avoid starting with payments, refunds, legal, we've talked about this, HR decisions. Start where the risk is low and the time saving is obvious. Then measure it. Did it save time? Did it improve quality? Did it reduce delay? Did the team actually use it? So what is the headline this week? AI's getting a job description. OpenAI is creating role-specific Codex plugins for internal sites. Microsoft is building always-on agents, better image generation in everyday tools, and agent control centers. Canva is bringing design creation into ChatGPT and Codex. Meta is bringing AI agents into customer conversations on WhatsApp, Messenger, and Instagram. AWS is making OpenAI models available inside enterprise cloud infrastructure. And Anthropic is reminding us that AI-enabled cyber threats are not just theoretical. For SME owners, the message is not panic. It's not buy everything. And it's definitely not let AI run the business and I'm off on holiday. The message is start giving AI clear jobs. Define the role, define the data, define the permissions, define the approval points, then test it one real workflow at a time. That's how AI becomes useful, practical, controlled, commercial. So that's your week in AI. If this was useful, give it a like, please subscribe and drop a comment with the role in your business that needs the most help from AI. Is it sales? Is it admin? Is it customer service? Let me know, because I want to start using real SME examples in future episodes. And I'll see you next Wednesday. Thank you very much. Take care.